morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at a new Arceus card. Yeah, that's right. I just covered that Pokemon Presents, right? And I have kids, and the kids aren't home right now. They're with Nano while Daddy and Mummy are both working. Well, I turned off my computer. I'm out the door to go pick up my kids, and would you believe it? They went and dropped news. In the very unlikely event that Nana and Pop are watching this video, I'm sorry this is why I was a bit late today, but I'm willing to bet they're not, so I think we will be okay. So, there is an Arceus V card. What does it mean? Is it any good? And how do we get it? Well, we need to give a shout out to the lovely Antoine Boulet here for helping us with the information and the translation. How do you get it is easy. You go and buy a physical copy of Pokemon Legends Arceus after pre-ordering it. Simple. People who pre-order a physical copy of Legends Arceus in Japan will get a promo Arceus V. And here's the thing. I want to ignore this card. I want to look at this card and go, you know what, we'll see it. It's a Japanese promo. I don't need it. But they went and stamped it with the logo of the game, and I'm a sucker for this. You go and stamp the game logo on, and it turns into catnip for me. Now I have to go and try and get a version of this card. But having said that, I am trying to learn Japanese. I'm not trying, I'm learning. I'm doing all right. Seems like getting a Japanese version of this game would be an appropriate thing to do under the circumstances. And then I would get it, and I would get the stamp. The artwork, of course, is very much in the vein of Legends Arceus. It is clearly in the, well, what will become the Sinnoh region. And you've got Bidoof there and all of that good stuff. It's clearly artwork from the game, which has gone and been used for this particular card. And I am in on this, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, we are at the stage, I'm just going to give in. And I'm not even going to hide it, and I'm not going to fight it. I am just going to find somewhere in Japan where I can pre-order this game so that I can go and get this card. I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to accept it and move on. Might I suggest that the more sensible among you, I don't know, buy the game in English and pick this up on the secondary market? I'm sure it won't be horrendous. Having said that, I have no idea. You guys do what you like. I'm not your dad. Unless my kids are watching, in which case, why aren't you in bed? But also I'm a little proud of you. So this Arceus then, what do we have? Well, it's got 220 HP, which is it's on high end. It's pretty much as high as you get. Retreat cost of 2 isn't ideal, but you've always got Air Balloon for free retreat, so it is not the end of the world. We've got a weakness to fighting, which is to be expected, but you'd rather not. And of course, remember nowadays, whenever you've got a weakness to fighting, Galarian Zapdos is going to be a good counter. I mean, you've got things like Rapid Strike Urshifu, which might be the best deck in the game right now. It's definitely in the top 2. Well, definitely top 3, I suppose. It's right up there, okay? Which will be hitting you for weakness. And then you got Galarian Zapdos V that can be put into any deck. And it is, shall we say, far from ideal, ladies and gentlemen. It is far from ideal. And of course, being a colourless Pokemon, yeah, sure, you get powerful colourless energy, but actually, you're not hitting anything for weakness, and that is not ideal. So do we have a reason to go ahead and play this? Well, for 2 colourless energy, you've got Trinity Charge. You attach up to 3 basic energy from your deck to your Pokemon V in play in any way that you like. And this is one of those situations where it's almost really good. Because you see, in a world where double colourless energy exists, I can look at this attack and be like, yeah, alright then, let's do this. But we don't currently live in a world where double colourless energy exists. We live in a world where twin energy exists, but it only works on non-GX, non-V Pokemon, and this is a Pokemon V. Triple acceleration energy exists, but firstly, it's rotating out, and secondly, it only works on evolution Pokemon, and this is not an evolved Pokemon. And we've got Rapid Strike Energy, which will only work on Rapid Strike Pokemon, and this is not a Rapid Strike Pokemon. And that's what you really want. And even then, it's a little bit weird, because you're in this awkward situation where you're using a special energy to try and accelerate 3 normal energies, and it's a little bit strange. However, it's still getting energy out on the board. And the thing is, we've seen these kind of attacks, and they've seen play. You know, Pikachu and Zekrom does a similar thing to this, but then again, Pikachu and Zekrom did 150 damage, while getting free lightning energy onto the board, which was very different. I mean, honestly, one of the most similar attacks we've got here is the attack on Arceus and Dialga and Palkia that for free energy did 150 damage and search for free basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Well, this is that attack, except it only attaches to Pokemon V. Do remember that Pokemon V Max are a subset of Pokemon V, so this will absolutely work for them. And it doesn't do any damage. And it's only for 2 energy, but the 2 energy isn't really that great, because we don't have a double energy that we can use. And sure, there's all kinds of fancy tricks you can use, things like Turbo Patch and things of that nature, but there's no good options here. And that's my problem, ladies and gentlemen. I love this attack, I love the idea, but I don't adore the execution, and I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I am very sorry about that. Now, as for the second attack, we got free energy 130, and the only real question I have about this is why? Like, seriously, why? What's the bloomin' point? Because you're not hitting for weakness. Now, this is one of those situations, right? If this is an attack that hits for weakness, then I change my opinion. Because now, if I'm against a Pokemon V that I'm hitting for weakness, I'm getting a one-hit KO, and that's beautiful. Still a ways away from Pokemon V Max, but I'm at least getting Pokemon V, so that's okay. But that's not the case here. I'm only hitting 130. And sure, we've got that 120-130 divide at the moment, whereby you see a lot of Pokemon that have 120 and have 130, so hitting 130 will get them all rather than just some of them. Fine. But the fact of the matter is, 130 for free energy on a 2-prize Pokemon, especially one with, let's euphemistically say, an inconvenient weakness, I'm not buying it. And this is what makes me really, really sad here, because it just doesn't seem good enough. And you have no idea how sad that makes me, because I love Arceus. I remember way back in the day, I say way back in the day, it depends how old you are, it feels like a very long time ago for me. We had the Arceus cards, and we put them all together to make the Arceus deck, and it was beautiful. Since then, we've had ADP, which I don't really want to talk about, and other than that, Arceus has not been a particularly good Pokemon. Really, the best we've had is Arceus Prism Star, that also searched for an attached energy, and you had to have a grass, a water, and a lightning Pokemon on your bench, but then you got to get any free basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, and there were some decks that actually used this and used it effectively. I don't see this seeing any play. I think it's beautiful, but I don't see it really seeing any play. I'm giving it 3 Wassies because that first attack is super useful, but I don't think it's actually good, is the problem. Now, of course, that leads to the question of, well, hang on a second, Wassie. Are we getting this? And the answer is, I don't know. And honestly, right, I want this card with the stamp. I really want the stamp. If you take the stamp off this card, I'm a lot less interested. You've still got the artwork, but you don't have the stamp. I want the stamp, gosh darn it. And if we go over to the Pokemon Center Online, the official website, there is a pre-order up for Pokemon Legends, and there is a great pre-order bonus. It is an Arceus Sitting Cuties plush, which everyone seems very happy about, and they should, because it's awesome. But this card has not been mentioned. And I think it's fair to say it's probably not coming. Now, if you live in the UK like I do, as it stands at the moment, we don't have a pre-order bonus. We're not getting the Sitting Cutie, and that makes me genuinely sad. I really want this card, and I want the Sitting Cutie, and I'm not pre-ordering an English, an American, and a Japanese version. I'm not doing it, but I will give up the Sitting Cutie if I can go and get the card. It kind of has to happen. But I imagine we will get this card at some point in some way, because it is a new Pokemon V, and we are trying to build hype around the game. It seems sensible, but I have no information, and it is not guaranteed. All we know is that if you pre-order a physical copy in Japan, you will get a promo. I imagine it's actually included in the case, because Anton hasn't told us about a particular retailer, etc. So it would make sense it would just come in the case. We will have to find out about that later. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this particular Arceus card, and I want to know how excited you are about it. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.